What is going on, everyone? Billy here. Action Figures on YouTube. At ActionFigures is my handle. I'm over on Instagram. Thunder Punch He-Man, as you know me. Today we got a real good one. We got the 80th anniversary 2-pack from Mattel of the vintage He-Man and Skeletor with the squishy heads and the battle twist action. We're going to see how they compare to the vintage pieces and see if they hold true. And right off the jump, before we get into it, I'm going to point to something. This right here. This damn sword. This box is amazing. The packaging design is phenomenal. I mean, just, it's great. Now, I'm actually going to leave this one sealed. I got two of them. The one that I opened was dented and broken, all jacked up. The label here. Oh, so anyway, I already have one open. I have not pulled the figures out yet, so I'll be doing that firsthand here for the review. But the package is so fantastic. But yet they packaged them with the Origins swords. And I'm lost on that. I mean, it's all this work. You went with the squishy heads from the 80s. You did the twist action with the spring. You did the molded arms and the legs. Of course, some extra paint apps. But then you didn't do the full vintage swords. I'm lost on that one. But you know what? I should leave that for the review. Getting off track. Let's go ahead and get this thing. Well, like I told you, I already have it open. But I'll cut to that and we'll go from there. Very exciting. See how it goes. All right, so we have them out now. Real quick, I'm just going to go over, just while they're still sealed, before I open them, just the card backs and what I think of the packaging. And then I'll pull the actual box and I'll move, of course, the two vintage pieces out of the way. And the box is, it's not in terrible shape. It's okay. It's enough to show off. But a couple things I want to point out. I'll bring up the Skeletor real quick. As you can see here. Now, this does come with the modern, like what they're doing with Creations, where you can slide the card back, off without having to, if I can get that thing there. There we go. You can slide this off, without having to rip the card back. I do like that feature. Mine is punched, as you can see, which I'm interested in how many people get punched and unpunched, because we've seen that with several figures where some are and some aren't. The Skeletor here, I'll get into obviously in the review on a few things, but overall, I mean, it's beautifully done. I mean, the back artwork is fantastic. Looks really good. Yeah, you can't go wrong with that. It's got the 80th logo. If I can, And then the He-Man himself here. Pull him on out. Now, he is forward slightly in the package on this particular one. I don't know why, but you can see he's still in there secured. Comic book. The actual weapons have like a metallic look to them, kind of. But so does the chest harness. So we'll take a look at all of that and do some comparisons. But the artwork is fantastic. This is like the back of the, if you're familiar with the He-Man, the vintage He-Man, the top of the card, of course, they look a little different than this, but I think he's standing with I have one somewhere, but he's standing with like the sword down and he's standing up looking one way, and they're not so much in action poses, I don't believe. Correct me if I'm wrong. I don't know. I didn't do my homework before that, but I do have one vintage piece, so I guess I should have pulled that out for comparison, but we'll roll with this. He looks pretty good, though. He looks pretty legit. We'll see. This is the one I'm most excited for. The Skeletor, yeah, but this head's been hard to nail down. Now, I do not have the 2000, pieces, the year 2000 from like JCPenney's and couple different places. So I won't be able to compare those. I have them. Let me rephrase that. I don't know where they are. They're probably in a box somewhere or a container. But I do have vintage pieces. I do have a couple Origins pieces we'll pull out just to compare. And I have a couple of the latest 5.5 pieces that are only 5 POA, and we'll compare those to this just to see how they stand, and we'll do the best we can and get good comparisons. I'm going to take the armor off and, you know, do them side by side with the vintage figures, and we'll go from there. So I'm going to pull this box up next. All right, so we got the box out here. I'm going to show you guys. We're bringing together 80 Mattel, 8 decades, 80th anniversary. See both sides swing open. Some nice art here. Now, something very interesting about this that I want to show first. I'd like to know other people who receive this, especially around the globe and in Canada. On the side here has a little phrase here. I want to read it to you. To celebrate 8 decades of play with Mattel, the world's most beloved toy company is reimagining new wave nostalgia for fans of any age and era. Be kind and rewind with this collection in honor of such a momentous milestone, available exclusively at Target. Now, this tab, which the reason why mine is broken, you can see here that my box is damaged. This is the one I opened because there was some damage done by a Target employee, kind of beat the heck out of it before I got it. But that's for a different story. But I'd like to know if you received this in another country or received it from another retailer, Walmart in Canada. I like to know what this says. Does it say Walmart? Does it say Target? You know, what does that say? I'd really be interested to hear that. As you can see on the back, it shows a cross sale, like a song or something. Anyway, you got the He-Man and Skeletor squishy head, vintage style squishy head, which is nice. 5.5 action figure. Nice battle scene here. Does show the twist waist, and he swings back punch feature. Combine the half swords, obviously, to form the power sword. Now, again, I mentioned earlier about the swords. These are the origin style swords and not the vintage. And it's a shame, kind of, in my mind. You may not agree with me. You can let me know in the comments. But I feel like if you went all this way to do all this shit and make it look so nice, and to do everything that you did, like look at this. I mean, you know, it's just so great. Skeletor there, top of Snake Mountain, over the, you got the Wolf Bat logo there behind him on the gate, and above him. I mean, come on. It's so nice. I like how they tell you this is removable, as if you wouldn't know that. But the, you know, the bursting rocks there. It's just a really awesome package, and I don't know why they just didn't do the swords, but we're going to get into that in the review. I just want you to see the box. Again, mine's torn because that's the way it came. It was hanging by like one little hair thread, but I just barely touched it and it popped. But if you want to get that off, you do have to cut it. It doesn't slide out. It's on a, you can see here, there's a piece of tape that pulls out that's holding that in. So if you want to get that off, you're going to have to do that unless someone else has it. I don't know. Maybe there's another way I'm just not paying attention to. But it says here, celebrate 80 years of Mattel toys with Masters of the Universe. Eternal struggle for good, or of good versus evil, with this vintage style He-Man and Skeletor featuring classic Power Punch action. And of course the newer updated Mattel logo. I don't know how new, I mean newer, several years newer. Empowering generations through play. So we're going to take a look at the figures now. I did, like I said, again, if you could comment below and let me know, I really would like to know about this, where it says exclusively at Target for availability. I'd like to know that. You know, I'm that kind of guy. I like to know that stuff. So anyway, there's the box. Beautiful artwork. There is a hang tab, as you can see here, so they can hang them up if they want to. Just great artwork, beautiful presentation. They did do the proper sword for what's going to be in the package. I'd like to have seen the vintage power sword here. But, you know, it is what it is. Got the artist on here. I know Roy was involved in the packaging. Obviously, there's packaging. But everybody who's involved, just it's fantastic, man. Congratulations to the team. Great job. All right, we'll get into the figures. We'll see how it goes. All right, so we're back. We got Skeletor here. We'll do him first, and we'll do He-Man last. Let's go ahead real quick. I know in the beginning we touched on the card back a little bit, or the figures. We'll just go ahead and show them off real quick while he's in the card back, and then I'll cut to it and have him out. But he looks pretty good. The packaging wise, like again, I mentioned earlier about the slide out feature. I do like that. Turn it this way so you can see it, where it slides right out. Kind of a newer thing Creations is doing with some of their figures. That's fantastic. You don't have to rip it off the card. You don't have to mess with the card. You can just put it all back when you're done with it if you want to. This does have a comic book behind it. You can see the Havoc staff there has like a pearl essence to it, kind of. We'll get into that when we review it. See the sword back there. The comic book, of course, is a reproduction. Got the 80th stamp on it. Skeletor, Evil Lord of Destruction. Now, again, I told you guys earlier, my cards are punched, even though the plastic on this is not punched. So I'm not real sure why the cards are punched. We've seen this with several figures from Creations, several figures, and it's, I don't know, some probably won't come punched. I like to have both, so if you find that, let me know, so I can be on the lookout. And then the back, the artwork is fantastic. As you can see, we'll back it out. You got the 80th anniversary for Mattel on the top. Again, the hang tab is there. Masters of the Universe, Castle Grayskull in the background. Skeletor. Now here he does have his painted accents, like his toenails are done, like he's had a spa day. He's got a little bit, his bones on stuff aren't painted. The paint has, but on here they are. I actually have one that's been done up. I should have brought that out, but again, should have, could have, would have. But it looks good. The artwork's fantastic. A little bit of peach in there, what they're trying to mimic here on the head. Yeah, so we'll go ahead and we'll break him out, cut him out. You can see there he does have around the ankles. He's got some of those damn ties that I hate. And they're also around the hands. I don't see anything else around the waist. But we're going to rip them out, and we'll be right back. All right, so we've got them out. Let's check the comic book out real quick. The Vengeance of Skeletor. Free illustrated book with purchase. Anybody want to comment below and tell me whose idea it was to throw these in when they had a meeting with... what toy? It wasn't Toys R Us. They had like a bear for their mascot. But, oh yeah, this is nice. It's very thick cardstock. It's very nice. Yeah, this is great. So, yeah, you'll enjoy this. It's got both of them on the back. Was it Child World? Toy World? Child World, maybe? I don't remember, but... There was a meeting, and I believe someone spoke up, which I know who it is. But comment below and let me know who it was, if you know. And they said, well, there's going to come with a comic book. So that was like a last-minute decision in order to try to sell the line with no cartoon at the time, before Filmation got into the mix. So, and it is threaded. It's got the threads down the side. It does come in this little baggie, which is sealed at the top, but the bottom is open, so you don't need to tear that open when you get it. You can make sure you just slide it out from the bottom. It's folded. Very nice. Looks great. It's got the 80th logo there on the top. So now let's get into the goodies. And by the way, he was very easy to take out of the package. All I did was start with the torso, popped it out. I was able to slide the hands from under the little straps there and the feet. The sword came out. This has a little tab holding it like right here. Pop that out. I didn't have to cut anything, thank God. So the first thing we're going to look at is these legs. I'm interested in these legs. I haven't done this yet, so let's see. All right, they're going to be ball and peg. So, or peg with ball, or whatever you want to go off of. But they're not going to be bands. None of that stuff. So, no need to worry about years down the road of some diabolical stretching and, you know, pain in the ass changing out legs like I'm trying to do right now. I was trying to find where I even put the, here they go. These things here, which really suck. They don't suck. I mean, they're great, but, you know, you got to change out the legs on some of them. Some of my vintage figures, they don't stand anymore, even though they haven't been touched. It's just with age, man. It is what it is. So this will hold up very well. Feels very nice and solid. It's a good figure. It's almost like an Origins figure, almost. Honestly, it's very solid. I'm not a big fan of the, you know, was that pedicure, manicure, pedicure? I don't know which one that is, obviously, but I prefer just to have, you know, the all purple. Now it's interesting that he doesn't have the half boot painted. Now again, remember, it's a rewind. It's a classic. They're going back just so you can enjoy nostalgia and also newcomers, new play. He does stand. I mean, he does stand pretty well. Yeah, he stands well. Let's see if he's standing up straight. Yeah, most part. Swing him around pretty fast. He stays up, so that's good. There's a little bit of a sheen to his armor. He's got the short straps, which is crazy because that's like the original release. If you know, I'll show you in a minute what I'm talking about. But the peach cheeks, which is supposed to represent the, and look, squishy head. Oh yeah, this is really great. This is awesome. That makes me even more excited. And for most of you, you may not understand that reference. Maybe most of you will. I don't know. If you collect the action figures from the 80s, this was only on the very first release. I know for He-Man anyways. Skeletor, I believe, was the first one as well. The second drop they did, they went away with the peach cheeks, the half boot, and they went to a longer strap because people couldn't pull it down. So they went with like a strap that's this long. And I'll give you here an example in a minute. But this does have the waist, you know, punch action. So it goes from both sides. It does. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. We're working with something. Mattel's doing something good here, man. I mean, they usually do, right? But not always. I mean, sometimes they do some crazy shit. Havoc staff has a little bit of a pearl essence to it. Make sure it fits his hands. Let's make sure that's always a big thing. Had a problem with that 2020 He-Man holding some stuff that's nice and tight. This right here is a letdown for me. I don't have Skeletor's sword out here. I'm just going to pull out He-Man's real quick, and I'll even show it with He-Man. This is the vintage sword. Okay, right here. You can see on the back, you know, it's got like codes and stuff to tell you what numbers are what. You can look up online to see if it's, you know, from the 8-back with the warranty or without the warranty before they added it. But here they use the origin sword, and I wish they wouldn't have done that. They did all this work, you know, standard 5.5, 6 points of articulation. If you want to go that far, it's 5 points. But you know, the head, 2 arms, waist, and both legs. So whatever you want to do, I don't. It's your preference. But I really wish they would have done the vintage sword. I don't know. I just don't understand that. If somebody could give me a good reason, I would really appreciate that in the comments as well. I mean, not a good reason, but just something in your opinion of why, besides saving money. Besides saving money, I get why. But if you do all this, and you do this, look at this. You do that, and you do this. I mean, come on, dude. And look, the joints, you know, it's a whole new mold, you know, and the short straps. He's beautiful. I got to do a little work. There's some folks out there doing some removing of these paint apps without taking off the paint of the rest of the figure. Looks to be interesting. Maybe stay tuned. Maybe I'll do a short on that at some point. Let me bring this in. Now he's got some wide legs because he's been on Panther there. But I'm going to show you this face. If I can do a close up. The both of them. Come on. I don't know how this will work with. Let me take this out of his hand. Hold on. Lay that down. Come on. Get out of there. You know what we'll do? We'll compare these. Vintage Gummy versus the new Havoc Staff. This is the new. This is the vintage. Not bad. Not bad. Not bad. Looks good. Same as the Origins, pretty much. I'm pretty sure that's what they threw in. You don't get that curve and all. It's a solid piece. If this one curves, you're screwed. I don't think, because this one, it'll put a crease in it. So there you go on that. Now, this face is what I'm trying to show you. All right. So here on the left, we have the vintage figure. And you can see, if I can get a good image of it. It's so hard. My screen's real small. I'm looking through. But he has this peach tone inside his cheeks. It's called peach cheeks, or, you know, half boot Skeletor. It'd be the first run out. The armor on this is not correct for this figure. He should have short straps. And these have been chewed on by somebody. Somebody had a good time. But he should have these straps on the back of this particular figure. You can see the blue is a little deeper on the original. They went with more of the Origins blue. I'll bring one of those out here in a second. Oh, come on. Stand up. You can do it. You can do it. Put your back into it. All right. So we're bringing a Origins Skeletor right here. This is the one that came with Screech, I believe. And still a little different tone and color. He looks to be a little bit taller. Obviously, you can make him shorter by bending his knees, because his knees bend. But I'm just sticking him out here for the heck of it. But I did bring a tape measure to the party. And right now, we'll go ahead and check him out. And he is just right at 5.5. Skeletor here, of course, the way I have his legs, he's just slightly under 5.5. But that's the way I have his legs. So depending on how you have him set up, his legs are a little wider. You want to push him up a little bit, you can. You definitely can't go wrong with this new one. I mean, it's fantastic. If you swap out the armor, I think, for vintage armor, in my opinion, I think it would look a little better, be less shiny. You know, go with that vintage look. The head, this squishy. I mean, you know, that's the vintage there. This is the new one. That's great, man. So, again, great stuff. The armor here with the short straps. Great opportunity there to go with nostalgia. What did I say? Nostalgia? Anyways, the only thing is, man, the sword. Why not do the vintage power sword? Come on, guys and gals. Kicking my ass with that. It's bad. It's not bad. It's just, I mean, I get it. You had to cut a corner somewhere, but you could have done it in something else, like no paint apps or, you know, I don't know. I mean, you had to have a mold for that. Or somebody could have done that. I'm missing an accessory, man. It's a throw-in, you know? Anyway, let me know what you think about Skeletor. I think it's great. Passes the test. You know, let's see how he fits real quick on Panther. I'll pull him out here. All right. Boom. Got him out. Let's see if he'll fit on this, because remember now, this is made for the vintage figures with the bands in the legs. So we're going to see if this one will fit. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Let's go ahead and pull this up a little bit. Dude, I'll give him the new Havoc staff just because it comes with that. Put his arm up a little bit. Boom. There you go. Look at that. How great is that? And I had this as a kid, man, so this thing is just ridiculous. Oh, yeah. I would like to have seen 2-packs again of Skeletor and Panther and, He-Man and Battle Cat. But this will work. He fits on there very nicely. Again, if you change out the armor, you'll have a figure whose legs won't stretch out. If you keep him this way, like I've done for years with this figure. I do have another one here to show you in the package, just to give you an idea of the face versus the one that we've got from Mattel here for the 80th anniversary. Now, I don't take these out of the pack. They stay in here. But this one doesn't have the peach cheeks. You can see how they look slightly different. So this is mimicking the original release. So great job, Mattel. Fantastic work. The fact that he can sit on the original saddle, nice and neat. Oh, yeah. It's great, man. I'm excited as hell, dude. Oh, man. Cool. You know what? There's a couple of these. There's one of these. I've seen a couple, but they're flocked like over different like cats. Like one's over Battle Cat, maybe a couple Big Jim figures, which obviously probably a little more expensive. But if anybody's got one they don't want, I do have a PO box down below. And the reason why I bring that up because I want to shout out to Bill. Bill sent me two Batman figures for me to review. He wants me to review them on the channel. We're Action Figures. That's what we'll do. I know about Batman, obviously, but I don't know much about the toys. But they're from different lines, both of them. We'll take a look at them. One's kind of stylized Joker, a little small figure, and one's a larger, like McFarlane style figure. But I'll do those. But I do have a PO box if you want to send anything to get reviewed, or if you got something like this that's cool, man, let me know. Anyway, Skeletor looks great. You can pull him right off, put his legs right on back. He stands right up. He's ready to go. Vintage Skeletor obviously can never be replaced, in my opinion. Neither can the vintage, steeds. But hey, man, it is what it is. So let's move on to He-Man and see what's going on with the most powerful man in the universe. You know what I didn't do that I need to bring in real quick is an Origins companion. We'll bring in the flocked Panther real quick and make sure he fits on this as well, which I'm sure he's going to because his legs move pretty great. He does. Look at that. Let's we can get him. Oh, yeah. It's perfect, man. Come on. There you go. All this articulation, man. Fits perfect. So if you do have an Origins Panther that you want to use, flocked or unflocked, doesn't matter. He fits on that as well. So the He-Man will do the same, I'm assuming, for Battle Cat, same saddle and all. So I don't need to show both, but I just wanted to check that. He does fit. Looks great too. So, all right, now we're going to get into He-Man. Now, at the very end of this, I will take their armor off and show just their bucks and to get an idea of how they look underneath compared to like an Origins. And I'll take off the armor on one of my vintage ones just to show the comparisons. We'll put a couple Origins figures next to it. We don't need to do anything Super 7 5.5, which I could bring out, but I don't think we need to. I'll just keep it Mattel, and yeah, we'll see how they look. So let's go ahead and get into He-Man. All right, we got He-Man out. Take a look at him real quick in the package again here. We showed the box earlier. He's got the armor behind him. Not armor, but his shield and his axe and his... It's supposed to be his sword of power, but it's the 2020 sword, which I've expressed my discontent for already. The important thing is that head sculpt. We're going to compare that to a vintage piece here in a minute. It's supposed to be squishy. We'll find out. He is tied in. Let's see. He doesn't have the wrist tie-ins like Skeletor, doesn't look like. He does have the feet tied in. I don't see any on the arms. Nothing on the armor that I can tell. And of course, again, the card back does, slide in and out. It's got the 80th anniversary logo in the top left corner here. The background, if you remember the 12 back or 8 back or whatever, the top had a little scene with He-Man and Man-at-Arms and Tila. It's a little more action pose going on here. So we'll go ahead and get this out of the package. We'll check him out. Hopefully he doesn't disappoint, because this is the man of the hour. So far he looks great. And we're going to see what we come up with. Here we go. All right, we got He-Man out of the pack. Let's check him out. Let's get a close-up. You can see his armor there is a little shiny. He's got the shield. Of course, the axe. And he does come with that sword, which, in my opinion, is disappointing. Again, you can comment below. Let me know what you think. Whatever. The legs is the same as Skeletor, kind of on that ball joint there. The arms are, let's see, let me pull this off. The arms are on like a peg from the arm stuck into a smaller hole. So this torso seems to be like the same as Origins, but like maybe re-engineered or redone, remolded. Squishy head. Boop, 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 boop. All right. We got the axe here. There's no markings like the vintage telling you like if it's from what, particular series or country. None of that stuff. The back is interesting. The back does have China 2024. And I'll get into that in a minute when I show Skeletor off with no armor. But let me check something just to make sure we're sitting here talking. While we're sitting here going over it, my apologies. Yeah, it says China 2024 on the back. I want to make sure I can see it. It's hard to see. You got to have like a flashlight because the flesh tone colors. Skeletor you can see a little bit easier, but 2024. So 2020 was the Mattel stamp on the back for Origins for a while. Then they went to Vietnam, I believe. Anyway, I can tell you when they went to Vietnam, and I'll get into that again with Skeletor when they switched. But this has the Power Punch. There is some straps that are painted, of course, fur on the boots. They're not dipped. They're not like below, so they, didn't do the first round of He-Man. It does have a little bit of a belly button present, slightly. If you can pick it up on camera. But the head is pretty good. It's not spot on, but it's well done. We'll move the accessories out of the way. As you can see here, there's like a pin in here. I thought it was a magnet, but it's like a pin holding this together, because these are like the vintage original before the warranty card, I would believe, where they're not melted, so that you could pop it off. But it looks good. I'm not a big fan of the shiny, shimmery pearlescence or whatever you want to call that finish there. They went with the comic book with Merman on the cover. Again, just like Skeletor, it's sealed here. You don't have to tear that. You can just slide it out from the bottom. It does have the Alcala little throwback there. 80th anniversary logo. So same back. It's almost like the 40th anniversary Masterverse figures. You know, they did the comic books. It's very nice cardstock. It's very thick. It's very nice. But anyway, this is not my area of expertise. So if you're interested in something, you want to know something, you comment, let me know. I'll be more than happy to look at it and respond to you. But comic books, I don't do too much of. I do have all of them, including like Eternia and stuff like that. I even have some custom stuff that was never made. I do have the comic book from like the Grizzlor and the Hordak 2-pack with the cassette. It's not in great shape, actually. It's got some like very bad spots. Come on, what are you doing here, man? What's going on? Anyway, all right, so comic book, there you go. Put that with the other one. Now we're going to slide in our friend in vintage style with the ultimate Battle Cat. He brought that damn sword. This thing, yeah, I don't mind this sword, but it's just, if you're going to do all this work, I still don't understand. You know, somebody just help me out. Help me understand. Besides cost savings and molds, I don't know. Anyway, vintage here. As you can see, if I can get this off of him. You can see here, these are like slightly melted. This is not going to be the very first run. This will be the second run probably, because after this they went even more melted. So the 8-back before the warranty. Now that's what he is with the belly button and all. So actually he's not, because the boots aren't dipped all the way, but he's right after that. So now the other issue is the legs here. I believe I replaced these probably 10 years ago with a 3D print, I guess, band. So maybe I didn't put it in correctly, but he's not going to stand on his own. He's been on Battle Cat for so long, for over a decade, if not longer. You know, he's 1981. It's just he's got the longer straps here. He's been on for so long. I mean, his power punch still works. But the important thing we want to look at right now, we want to look at these heads. It's close enough. You know, a little color difference. Depends on what you're looking at. You know, Thunder Punch He-Man, you know, he has a different head. This He-Man has a little different head. So they're all slightly a little different. But this is going to be the closest since the vintage. The 2000, which I'll insert again, you know, to show you, was not good in my opinion. Some people might like it. I don't know, whatever. The hair here seems to be a little more blonde, not as orangish blonde. I don't know what color to pronounce it as. His chest harness has more of a pearlescence or a shiny look, as does his belt. But, you know, for the most part, he looks really good. I mean, his chest looks to be a little bit more broader and built. His braces are painted, obviously, which we're going to take care of that on another figure. I'm going to get that off of there. Let you get it up close and you can see it. Yeah, but overall, I'm going to give it like an 8 out of 10. Stands well. We'll take this He-Man, put him aside. We'll see about the steed here. Boom. He fits on Battle Cat vintage. I was going to say very well. Actually, if you close the legs, there you go. Very well. It looks great. Sits on him well, nice and centered. So he does fit on him. And you already know he's going to fit on the vintage. What is that what do you call that? Remake, you know, the origins. Trying to give the vintage vibe. But we'll just bring in the Panther here that I do have sitting here. And this is going to be the same saddle, you know, as the Battle Cat. So he fits on that very well for the origins. Actually looks really good on that. So he'll fit the Battle Cat very nicely. So he's cool. Just a couple of complaints. One, if your complaints is a sword. The main thing is a sword. I'm also not into this armor. Now, they do say that this is like a rewind. You know, they're going back to that style just to give you some nostalgia feel, but also with an updated like twist to it. Twist, get it? Twist. But so these have China 2024, which is very interesting to me because there's a Skeletor, and I'm going to go ahead and bring it in now. I'm just going to go ahead and get right to it, man. We've seen He-Man. We've got him. If there's something you want to know, you can always message me. You can post a comment, and I'll pull him back out. I'll look. They do have peg holes, as you can see, so they can stand on some pegs. But something that's very interesting, this Skeletor right here from Origins is the last that I'm aware of now. Remember, I'm not a perfect individual, but I know my stuff pretty good. I buy a lot of this stuff. This one is China. Okay? And let me see. Yeah, so this one's got China on it, but this came with Screech. And if you have it, you know, you can tell by of course, the jaw moves. If you can get it to move, closes, and then it does open. The other figure has more of a shadow effect, more shading kind of. It's not as direct as this, like the paint. If I can get that to zoom in. So that one is Vietnam. And these appear to be the same buck as the Origins. It's just kind of like re-engineered. You know, the head doesn't fit on the same way. They got rid of the peg that sticks out, and they went into the body. It appears to be wider. So, but I think that may be an illusion from the head. The arm, as I showed earlier, I'll go ahead and pull this out. So I'll try to break it off. It don't matter. There's a peg that's a part of the arm that goes in. It locks. Whereas, you know, these they pop out. You know, it's a different mechanism. It's completely different. So it's like they sealed the body up, and they use this buck, but the back says China 2024. So I'm wondering if we're going to get more of this style. I just cannot believe, and you can disagree or agree. You can let me know in the comments. You know, we have all this articulation here, whereas this one is just like the vintage. You know, the stagnant movement on the arms. There's no joints or hinges or anything. The legs, the knees don't move. I really can't believe they're going to do all this for just 2 figures. Now, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it'll be a special thing. I just don't see or foresee or whatever Mattel letting this opportunity go. I mean, we know 2000 and X figures are coming starting January. We've already seen, I think was it 3 of them? He-Man's one of them. You know, I think we saw Beastman. There's been a few. Of course, this being vintage, this being the new 80th anniversary for Mattel. I just don't see them letting this design with the fixed legs, fixed arms. I mean, there's so many figures you can get out of this right now with a different head that you'd miss out on the money. And Mattel, we all know, does not miss out on money. And it's 2024. So it tells me this has been around for a while. If it's got 2024 stamped on it, and we're getting it now, yeah, that's just my opinion. Again, I keep saying comment below, let me know. But I just don't think that's going to be the end of this little vintage run. Does that mean we'll get a whole line? I don't think that will be the case. Do I think there'll be some more special packages, maybe some repaints, or maybe some different flair, maybe with the Battle Cat and the Panther, perhaps. We'll see. As far as, you know, the armor, I mean, they printed this stuff. Like, this is the vintage piece here. You can see how gummy. You can see how gummy this is. I mean, it's hard here, but it's really gummy here. This is pretty gummy, but you know, the Origins is really like just. I mean, I can ball that into a ball. I mean, it's so pliable. It's not even as soft as this is. This was difficult to get off for me. It's a little bit softer. So the Origins versus the 80th anniversary. Of course, we all know, well, most of us know. If you didn't, you know now. The vintage piece is a very harder plastic. You can see just, you know, you can hear it, like, versus, you know, it's just like, it's very stagnant. It doesn't move much. So, I don't know, man. Let me know what you think again. I've said that like 10 times in this video. I do not believe this is the end of this body type. What other figures we'll get? You can run down the list of what comes with these arms and these legs and these boots here with the gauntlets. Now, the arms, of course, they pop out. So, you know, but the buck itself, the upper buck, the actual torso being designed to take a peg that doesn't come out for the arm and the head to be affixed to the top, that buck is been modified. So I think, you know, arms and legs are cheaper than doing the torso, from what I understand. And the belt, of course, and all that's there. I just think that it's there. I think there's more to it. I really do. So comment, let me know, subscribe, share it, whatever you want to do. Give me your feedback. And stay tuned. I got some interviews coming up. I'm going to be having Mega J and the Turning Royalty Mike coming on to discuss some new updates on the MOTU convention that's going to be happening, MOTU Centric convention in Southern California. So we'll get into that and all the details, and I'll put a description below, or in this, I'll put a description in the description below. I'll put down the you know, the page where to find that and how to start getting involved in that. We got a lot to talk about. I don't want to get ahead of myself. I want them to come on the channel and talk about it. So in the next week or so, we'll have them on and we'll go over that. But I appreciate you guys watching. Thank you very much. You guys be safe out there. And let me know if you're picking these up. If you're not, tell me why. I'm curious. Do you think there's going to be 2 packs, you know, with Battle Cat and Panther? Do you think, I mean, what do you think? Let me know. All right. We'll talk soon. Action Figures out. Y'all take care. Later.